Good evening, and may the force be with you. Good evening. And tonight we are returning to Lego Star Wars because I need to clear some shelf space for the August pre-orders that are coming in. So I've got a very cool, very special, and very unique ship to add to the Star Wars fleet tonight. And this one is kind of I can't really call it bookends because my Star Wars fleet is far from over. In fact, we're really just beginning, as many as we've done. We've got a lot more ships to go. I've still got several in the build queue, several on the wish list. Um, but it's not really bookends, but it is kind of a symbolic return to the beginnings of my Lego Star Wars fleet. Let's go over to the camera. And you can see I have the movie version of the Razor Crest. This is Mando's ship, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. And the Razor Crest has an interesting history. Um, and it's cool to finally have a version of it in my Lego collection. Or it will be in my... As you know, I don't consider a set fully in my collection until I actually build it. Um, So this is moving out of the build queue and into the actual built portion of the collection tonight, so I can finally count this one. So the Razor Crest is the Mandalorian's famous ship. It was destroyed in the middle of season 2. Not a spoiler because that was several years ago already. Um, which paved the way for his junk friend on Tatooine, Mando, to help him rebuild a Naboo N-1 Starfighter, which how an N-1 ended up on Tatooine is still a mystery because the N-1s were exclusive to Naboo. They weren't one of those mass-produced starfighters that many of the galactic factions used, like the X-wings and the Y-wings and the TIEs. No, the N-1s were. It's been established in lore that the N-1s were designed and used exclusively by the Naboo. So how a crashed one ended up on Tatooine is anyone's guess. But Mando helped Mando rebuild it, and so after the Razor Crest was destroyed, the N-1, the heavily modified and reconstructed N-1, became Mando's ship. And that was actually the first play scale ship in my Lego Star Wars fleet. And so it's cool to finally be getting a version of the Razor Crest. So they released the movie this past spring, um, back in May, Star Wars month. And guess what? The movie kind of opens with the New Republic wanting to recruit Mando for a job. And in order to get him on board, they give him a new Razor Crest. How do they get it? Who knows? Colonel Ward kind of just hand waves the whole thing, saying, "You don't need to know where we got this ship, but it's yours if you will go on this mission for us." And I'm not going to spoil the rest of the movie, but suffice to say, Mando gets his Razor Crest back. The only visual difference between the two versions of the Razor Crest is that the movie version has more yellow paint on it, which I just know is going to translate to a very yellow sticker sheet. And also, that makes this also not plain gray. One thing I've noticed about my Lego Star Wars fleet is that most of my ships, even though Star Wars has a reputation for all the ships being plain gray, that's really not happening so much in my fleet. Of course, we did the Imperial Star Destroyer, and that's pure gray. But I like these as splashes of color that we're getting on all the other ships. Even if they're mostly gray, they still got some color. And this one is no exception. You can also see we've got a nice assortment of figures. We're going to get Mandalorian and Grogu again. Um, and actually, I have two other sets in the build queue where Mando is one of the minifigures. Oh, I think this is my only other Grogu. This is from the New Wave, so it has the new body shape for Grogu. Um, and then it also comes with two New Republic characters, Zeb, who originated in Star Wars Rebels, and then Colonel Ward, who's like the leader of the New Republic base in the movie. And then there's also a stormtrooper, because it's good to have army. It's most of the Lego Star Wars ships will include like, or I shouldn't say most, but many of the Star Wars ships include like one army builder figure of the opposite faction. So it's cool to get another stormtrooper. I wonder how many troopers that is in my collection now. Hold on, I'm genuinely curious about something. I'm going to Bricklink for a moment before we get started. I'm going to my minifigure collection, and I want to see how many stormtroopers I have. We're not looking up clone troopers, just stormtroopers. Man, it's so hard to type with the box in the way. I can actually move the box now that we're starting stream. So let's see. I have. So it says I have 6 regular stormtroopers so far, not including this one because I haven't inventoried it yet. Plus, I have a couple sand troopers, scout troopers, and other variants. So yeah, my stormtrooper army is finally starting to grow. Pretty soon it'll match my clone trooper army in size. But anyways, here's the Razor Crest. And so you've seen the front of the box. And now, and this is a big box, as you can see, it takes the whole table. I have the second table on standby in case I need it, but I think being a only just over 900 pieces, I think we can fit this build on one table. And here's the back of the box. It shows a few play features. Let me see. So it shows the stormtroopers operating a turret. So this must be the, so this is a stormtrooper who's going to be trying to stop their getaway. And you can see Grogu and the New Republic characters boarding while Mando fights the stormtrooper. Let me just look at the... And it shows that the back end opens up so you can put people inside. And the picture also shows... Okay, we'll just have to build it up and see what goes on with this thing. Meanwhile... Alright, so now we will... Oh, no push tabs, because this is one of the bigger boxes. That's okay, we got my scissor. Let's cut the tape and get right into it, because I've talked a long time anyway. So the Disney era of Star Wars likes to do this thing, where things that are like pretty much dead, they like to bring back with no explanation. The first was Anakin's lightsaber, the one passed down to Luke, that Luke lost in Empire Strikes Back in Cloud City. Somehow, in Force Awakens, Maz had acquired that lightsaber. We still don't know anything about Maz's background, so how she got the lightsaber, we will never know. And then they did it again with Palpatine himself. Somehow Palpatine returned, and now again, somehow the Razor Crest returned. Anyway, so let's... So we have, as usual, I need a few moments to get all these bags organized. 8 is the biggest number I see so far. I do see a brick separator sticking out there. 4, 3, 2, So it looks like the bags go up to 8. So there's bag 6 and bag 5. And it's interesting that this set uses the old plastic bags because this set actually came out this year. And this year, pretty much all the sets I've done that have come out this year have already switched over to the new paper bags. So it's kind of interesting that this set is using the old plastic bags. And of course we have bag 1 ready to go. There's a separator right there. Now the paper packet, which is usually the instructions and stickers. Occasionally the paper packet also contains some special pieces, but I don't think it will in this case. I think this is a fairly standard Star Wars ship. So here is the paper instructions. Pretty thick book there. And we can, you know what we do with these. I'll just put that over there. And there should be, there it is, the sticker sheet. I know it looks like a Speed Champion sticker sheet, but it's really not that bad. I counted from the picture on Bricklink earlier, and there's only 19 or 20 stickers. So the sticker per part ratio on the set isn't too bad. Now let's pull up our instructions and get started with our build here. First, did I ever turn on the audio? Alright. Okay, so the audio is working. So I didn't just lose my whole opening monologue about the Razor Crest returning from the dead mysteriously. Now let's get up the instructions for real. And we can begin. And there's the brick separator page. And bag 1 is showing us how... Okay, so this trooper actually has rank, because this one has a pauldron. Okay. Maybe he's not ranked. Oh yeah, you know why? Because this is the Imperial Remnant. We're in the New Republic era, which is after the fall of the Death Star and the Emperor. So these are the Imperial Remnant stormtroopers. That's why this guy has a pauldron. If you see a pauldron on a regular stormtrooper, chances are he's either a sand trooper or he has rank. But this is a Remnant stormtrooper, so I guess all the New Republic era Imperial stormtroopers have pauldrons. I'm not really sure. Still, it's cool to see that he's not going to be identical to all the other stormtroopers in my collection. There's the separator. So this first bag is going to give us the first 2 characters. Our main character and our army builder. Okay, so let's start. I do recognize this newer style pauldron piece because we used one before. The Sand Trooper in the Smart Play Cantina set had one. Let's see if I can find it in the parts pile. I do see his blaster, so I'll pull that aside. There's the pauldron. Now we're going to put the trooper's head on. Let's make sure that I'm not confusing the two heads here. Yeah, and the instructions, the lighter colored head is our Mando, so this one's the trooper. And one of the cool things about modern stormtroopers, I'll show you his face before I put the helmet on. One of the cool things about modern stormtroopers is that they don't use the clone faces under the helmets like they have for most of a Lego Star Wars history. The troopers get individualized faces now. Sometimes they'll reuse a face print, but that's okay because with an army force of thousands built from millions of worlds, of course you're going to get people who look alike. So there is our completed stormtrooper, ready for action. And even though I usually put the forces in opposition on opposite ends of the table, he's the only one, so we can just make one character line up so we take up less space on the table. Now we're going to build Mando himself. And he of course, like most Mandalorian figures, gets the signature jetpack. That's like a Mandalorian minifigure cliche at this point, is the jetpack. Because I think I've got like a dozen different Mandalorian figures and almost all of them have jetpacks. It is kind of a big part of their culture, though. And it only shows him wielding a small gun here. So I'm going to actually go ahead. And because it looks like there's two guns in the parts pile, one for the spare bits bag. So I'm actually going to make him dual wield. But there's his face. There's Mando unmasked. He would hate me if I was showing you that. So let's put his helmet on quickly and move on. So yeah. I'll give him both. Wait, there was a thing here. I want to make sure. Yeah, no, the turret is its own thing. Yeah, I can give him both blasters. Okay. I can give him both of the little pistols here. And he can dual wield. Because by this point in the story... Oh, I can't say that without giving a major spoiler. Well, if you haven't seen Season 3 yet, it's on you at this point. Because that's been out for a couple years. So I'll just go ahead and say it. The Darksaber has been destroyed at the end of Season 3, so it has no place in the movie. And this set is from the movie part of his story, so that's a cool thing they did with the movie. They designed the movie such that anyone who hasn't seen the show can come in and not be lost. They just can jump right into the action without needing to know the whole backstory. But if you have seen the show, it's just a natural continuation of that. So here's Mando, fully armed, with his dual-wielding pistols. I'm sure Mando can do dual-wield pistols. I mean, he single-handedly... I can't say that, because that's a movie spoiler. And the movie's new enough that I don't want to spoil too much. Obviously, the return of the Razor Crest, just the fact that there is a Lego set for it, I had to spoil that a little bit. But aside from that, I really don't want to spoil the movie part of the story too much. But even if we just think about the series, Mando's a talented fighter in his own right. So even though there's no more Darksaber, he had his staff weapon before then. And he's also had various rifles. He's had knives. He's had... So, dual-wielded pistols, I don't think is too far out of the picture for him. It's plausible, even if it hasn't been done in show. It's definitely within his skill range. So now we're going to build this little turret, which is for the Stormtrooper. if I can find that little clip piece that's in the first step there. Oh, you can see from the sticker sheet, lots of yellow markings on it. A lot of the yellow markings of the ship are on the sticker sheet. There's the clip. It was hiding under something else. That's what pieces are usually doing when you can't find them right away. Well, I've been talking a lot. We're already 23 minutes into stream. Well, if you count the splash screen, we're about 21 minutes into stream. Then I take the gun and I put it on the base like this. Alright, so there's our little turret that the stormtrooper will use to try and blast the Razor Crest. And I'll just set that aside until for later, because now we need the build space for the Razor Crest itself. And I have a feeling this ship's going to get real big real fast as we start going through these bags here. Oh wow, that's a long piece. Alright, these go here. When I stop talking, that just means I'm more focused on the build. I actually build a little bit more efficiently when I'm not talking. I mean, I'd love to talk if any of you chatters want to talk. Alright. Now these go here. I was off by one stud. That's okay though, it's a good thing I fixed it while we were still within the same step. And our first assembly. Alright. Okay. We need this piece. And a couple more pins. And then that one goes on there. Alright. So the first couple bags on a Star Wars ship tend to be structural. So I have a feeling we'll see some Technic in the next bag to get the skeleton of the ship. That's just a guess though. I know nothing about this model going in, and every ship does different things with the build techniques. But there are some general things that Lego Star Wars, some general patterns that Lego Star Wars play ships tend to follow. So we'll see what happens as the bags go on. At this point, I'm not going to try to really predict anything. Oh, that plate wasn't pressed in all the way. Something just rolled off the table. And it went behind the table. You may think you're in perfect control of your piece pile, but then, even if you've been working with the same piece pile for a while and everything's been fine, a piece may suddenly start to roll. And it's not at a time where you're actively putting things on or or opening a bag, so you don't notice it, but sometimes you hear it. So there's a little bit of a Technic piece there. But before I put that on, this piece was supposed to go on, so now we can put that all back. This one piece per step deal, kind of a little inefficient. It's why the instruction books tend to be so many more pages than they need to be. And then there's other times they put too many pieces in one step, and then you forget to put a couple on. Like here, this step has 4 pieces. That's a good, fair number to do. Here's some printed gauges, but I don't think this is the console, because this is not this doesn't look like a cockpit area we're putting together right now. It looks like we're still setting up the base of the ship here. Interesting. That one will go there then. We have this transparent orange round brick in the back there. That's not usually... Looks like that's part of the inside, so that's not usually a place where you would expect to find an engine. Let's see how the build develops before I try to make an assumption what that's supposed to be. Alright, we're almost through bag one. After which, the shape of the ship is not yet recognizable. This mass of bricks and plates is at a stage where it could still theoretically turn into anything. But the next bag or two, the ship as we know it will start to take shape and come together, and then it will obviously be the Razor Crest. But right now, it still looks like a generic mass of bricks and plates. Time for bag two, and bag two is going to give us Grogu. And he's tiny, so I have no idea how we're going to get him onto camera. I dropped one of the spare bits. Why am I going after the spare bit? So I don't get confused later when I inevitably drop something else that's more important. Okay, I can see a couple of Technic pieces, but it doesn't look like it's too bad on the Technic front. So maybe a little bit of framework and structural support, but and I did, yeah, I did hear a piece go down, or see a piece go down when I was opening that. So bag two, as you can see from the instruction page, starts with assembling what may be the most important character in the Mando show, which is Grogu. And no, I am never going to call Grogu Baby Yoda, even though that's what fans called him for a long time. Because if you call Grogu Baby Yoda, in my opinion, you have to call Yoda Grandpa Grogu. So, I just call him by name. And here is the new body shape for Grogu. Oh, well, that's coming out good on camera. And you can see he's wearing the Mudhorn medallion that Mando gave him as kind of a armor piece at the end of season 3. Again, season 3 is a couple of years old already, so if you haven't seen season 3 yet, that's on you. Oh, I like that Mudhorn print. Let's take another moment to appreciate the print on that medallion there, and actually the Grogu. Um, I guess you can call him a micro figure because he's so much smaller than the other minifigures. But yeah. All right, that's enough cuteness for now. Let's. He can stand next to Mando there. He's so tiny, he almost doesn't register in the character spread. But we got to keep going with the build, and I can see some yellow, so we're going to get our first hint of the exterior markings, I do believe, as we go through this bag here. Yeah, there's a lot of yellow mixed in with a lot of gray in this bag, so we may start to see a little bit of the surface of the ship. Not a lot, we're only on bag 2 of 8, so... Alright. There's a little bit of a sand blue tile going on also. That's not a color you see all the time. So here's an assembly on the assembly coming up in the next step here. this one. I can only I can only assume that in universe, the reason Mando's new Razor Crest has so much more yellow marking paint on it is to distinguish it from the first Razor Crest, the one that got destroyed, which only had a limited amount of yellow marking paint on it. Alright, these go here. The mass of bricks and plates is starting to look slightly less generic. I mean, it's still not obvious from the shape, but you can start to rule out a lot of possible vehicles this could be building into. So, yeah, the shape is starting to come together. It's still not obviously identifiable yet. That usually comes around the middle of the... Did they give... Oh, wow. There's an extra Grogu head in my spare bits pile here. That must count as a piece tiny enough to qualify. But it doesn't look like the body does. Alright, there's a printed console piece here. So it looks like this up here is going to be the cockpit area because there's a printed console piece right there. It could also be an operational area. Okay. We're coming up on the 1 hour mark of stream now. If you count splash screen time, we'll be at just about 1 hour of coming off the splash screen by the time I finish this bag. That's a good metric to keep. And we are also definitely going to be taking a stretch break after this bag. Now this is going to be an exterior piece, I can tell, because it's yellow on gray, which are the main colors of the exterior of the ship. So here's going to be our first obvious piece of the ship's exterior. Alright, these go here. We're also going to get our first sticker on this page. That's the number 6 sticker. Actually, the tile's yellow. So let's try and edge the gray end of the sticker. Mostly straight. Not perfect. But I think if it looks straight when I apply it to that, Yeah, it's good enough. So it looks like the next couple pages are going to be a sticker fest. Alright. Let's start by prepping all 6 of these hinge sections. Then I'll attach them. It'll be more efficient if they're all ready to go. Alright, I need 1 more of those hinge sections. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all the pieces on, and then we're going to put all the stickers on, because it looks like the stickers here will have to line up. But first, let's just get these hinges in. Okay. So we know that's the 14 sticker. And that's the 12 sticker. So let's put those 2 stickers on this side. Hopefully I can line them up appropriately. Do not, no. Stickers and Technics slow me down a bit. And now we got to do the 15 and the 11 sticker on the other side. Let's just make sure, yeah. So this side will do pretty much the same thing. Okay, that should be good enough. Ah, our daily spammer, our daily bot just appeared. And our daily bot spammer has been eliminated. Oh, that one's very crooked. Let me try that again. If I can get it up without too much damage. Yeah, that section's not perfect, but it's not too terrible. Yeah, here's the section that we just put together. And this is going to go on the front of the ship like this. So we have our first bit of the ship surfaced right there. Now we're setting up a little bit of Technic framing. Okay, I need another one of those frame pieces. Okay. Let me see. Does it work? Yes, it does. Okay. I made a little Grogu bust there. Do I have a piece in here that will work better? Not really. But I do have a piece. Yeah, actually that kind of works. So yeah, there's a little Grogu bust with a spare Grogu head. Alright, and with that, we'll be doing bag 3 when I return from my quick break here. I'll see you in a few minutes because, yeah, I need a break. I need a quick stretch break. But yeah, now that we have this bit, now that we've put the front bottom of the ship on, it's starting to become recognizable. Still got a long way to go, but the shaping is starting to come together now. Alright, I'll be back in a couple minutes here. Alright, I'm back from the break. Let's do a very quick audio test. Alright, we're good. Never underestimate the importance of a good stretch break during a long stream. Health is more important than streaming, so if you need to take a break, no excuses, just do it. Anyway, we're about an hour into the build. If you count the talking time. Let's go ahead and start bag 3. And it looks like bag 3 is going to be an assembly section. And it looks like it's going to... This particular assembly section looks like it's a lot of the shape of the ship. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, let's begin. Or I should say, let's continue. So it looks like we're doing some more framing and shaping right now. Okay. Now we've put together the frame. It looks like now we start to add plates and bricks around the frame until the section is ready to attach to the ship. Great, I've just gone to Captain Obvious mode. Maybe I should stop talking for a little bit and focus on the build. Alright, alright. Okay, these will go here. All right. All right. So yeah, bag 3 is a pretty significant and substantial section of the ship. This assembly in my hand is building up weight in its own right. Let's see. It feels almost as heavy as the section we already started putting together. Now it's time for an assembly on the assembly. Wow, that's a long brick. There's a bright green. I'm sure that brick's going to get completely covered because that doesn't go with this color scheme at all. Alright. There it is. And it's going to be sticker time again. It looks like these stickers are going to be visible at the same time. So let me just get these both these pieces on. And then I will attach the stickers. It's just a simple yellow stripe, so it shouldn't be too hard. Down the front edge of these slope pieces here. These are slope wedges. Gotta put the stripe on the other side. Okay, not one stripe looks lower than the other, but I think once we put this on the ship with all the stuff that's going between it, it won't be noticeable. But those are the the yellow stripe stickers we just put on the slope wedges. Now we can go on. Okay, looks like it's time to do the stud shooters. You know how we do the, the stud shooters and the missiles on this channel. We do a quick test to make sure it's working, and then I never load them again. Stud shooters and missile tubes usually come in pairs. So we got to do one more little test here. And the guns are good and ready to go. And let's keep going. these go back here. Okay. All right. Yeah, the section we're putting together now definitely feels heavier than the main body section we've done so far. Okay, I need another one of those little bits. Okay, those are on. Bag 4 will give us our fourth character. so we have here, um, this is going to be Colonel Ward. She's the leader of the New Republic base who gives Razor Crest 2 to Mando and sends him on the mission. Let's see. Happy face or serious face? She's a military commander, so let's go with the serious face. And there's supposed to be a blaster. There it is. Tiny little pistol blaster. So there's Colonel Ward, ready for action. There, it focused a little bit better. Alright, let's keep going with our build. We're still working on this big assembly. And this is bag 4. So after this bag is going to be the halfway point of the ship. Because there's 8 total bags. To find one more of these little tiny black pieces. There it is. And we can keep going. All right. Okay. All right, those are on. And now I gotta get these 2 on. Wow, I stopped talking again. That's okay though. Because when I'm not talking, I'm more focused on the build. Alright, let's keep going. Alright. Let's make both of the hinges and then I'll attach them. Alright. Those go there. And then this one will go here. And then this assembly goes in like this. need another one of those sections for the other side. And that big green brick from earlier is finally completely covered up. Just check. Let me look at something real quick. Yeah, good. All right. All right. I can recognize a bit of the shape of the ship in this big section that we're putting together. Okay. It was under the other section. That's why I didn't see it at first. Okay. All right. So now the original section of the body is going to pin to this section. I just got to figure out how everything lines up here. Okay, so it looks like the holes on the body there are what those pins are going to go into. And then these are going to go into here. And I got to make sure everything lines up. And then we're going to push the 3 pins in here to secure the 2 sections together, assuming I have everything lined up properly. And now the shape of the ship is finally starting to be really recognizable. The pins went in, the sections are secure. And the ship just gained another big chunk of itself and is starting to become recognizable. We're putting in some more pins to continue securing the sections. Okay, those pins are all in. Now this axle is supposed to go through this hole. So we just put the landing gears on. And so now the ship will be able to stand up properly once I flip it back over. So that'll be the number 9 sticker. But I need to see these on the ship because I need to see if they'll be visible at the same time. So that's the number 9 and the number 10. And once these 2 stickers are on, that's going to be the end of bag 4 and it'll be time for bag 5. But yeah, the ship definitely has its recognizable shape now. So we have the 10 on this side and the 9 on that side. The big question is, are they visible at the same time? Yes, but not head on. So they don't have to be as precise as they were if they were a unified sticker. I mean, if they were meant to, they still should be lined up properly. Yeah, they look pretty good together. They're not perfectly lined up, but from the field of view where they're together, since it's not head on, they look alright. You can see the yellow stripe stickers up there on those slopes up there. We're going to go straight into bag 5. But here's what we have so far. Definitely the iconic shape is coming together now. Okay, so it's a little after 10:30. We're at about the 2.25 hour mark, so if you count my talk time from the beginning of stream, we're about 2 hours into the build. This sticker I'm just going to go ahead and put on because I really don't think I have line of sight to the matching piece on the other side. Plus, it's a greebling detail. It's not pure greebling because it's a sticker rather than a three-dimensional piece we're putting on, but it serves the same purpose. There's that sticker. I have it a little bit crooked. Let's see if I can make it a teeny bit straighter. Yeah, that's better. Good enough. Let's keep going. Unlike some of the other Star Wars stuff I've done, actually, most of the Star Wars stuff I've done is still within life cycle. But this set literally just came out, so if you want to get this one, you'll have the opportunity to do so for a while. There have been several versions of the Razor Crest at LEGO so far. The big one has long since retired, and I think the other the play scale version of the original Razor Crest has also retired, I believe. So what we just so this is a side panel for the front section of the ship that we just put together, and it's got one of the cosmetic cannons. That's one of the big show. That's one of the big more show accurate guns. That's that's just for show. And I can just close that up. And you can see this section here, that's what we just covered on the other side. So you can see on that side, the front of the ship is covered now. Looks like we now have to build the panel for this side of the ship. This one goes here. The good news is we're more than halfway through the sticker sheet. And we still got 3 more bags to build after this one. Yeah, that sticker's very crooked. Let's try and carefully do a little adjustment here before we go on. It's passable, but I can't do any more adjustment without damaging the sticker further, so. Let's see. I'm actually... Yeah, that's more cosmetically pleasing. So now I have to attach this on. And let's get the spare bits out of the way. And then the front side panels will be on, and we can move on to bag 6. Bag 6 will give us our final character of the night. Wow, there's a couple big pieces in bag 6. Let me just go ahead and get them out of the way a little bit. And now I need to find his head. So this is Zeb, first seen in Star Wars Rebels. He now works for the New Republic. Okay. So now it wants us to put these bars in. And then I need to find another one for the other side here. There's going to be 2 stickers on this piece, but this is a section that's repeated twice. So let me build the whole section, then I'll put all the stickers on. Yeah, let me build both sections and then I'll sticker them. There's not a lot of pieces in bag 6. We're at the point of the ship where we're really just filling in surface details now. And now sticker time. So that's what the section looks like. I now have to put the stickers on the 2X part, and then I can attach these. Alright, I need to be able to get to what I'm doing here. See you later. Alright, so we're starting to panel up the sides of the ship. That's what the purpose of these two bits is. You can see how they go on the side like that. And we still have a lot more paneling to do. Let me go back to the picture real quick. Yeah, I probably can't anticipate stickers on this one, but it doesn't look like the stickers have to line up with anything pre-existing. No. These go up here. Yeah. Since these stickers just have to be consistent with this side, I'm going to go ahead and just put them on. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Those are the two stickers I just put on. Alright, yeah. Let's see, this lines up down here and is consistent with the other clips. And that all closes up nicely. That's what the side paneling looks like for that side of the ship. Now I have to do that back section of the side paneling for this other side. Actually, it looks like we're doing a little the middle section first before we do the other panel for this side, because this is definitely a different build. This is the back panel. So yeah, bag 6 was about closing up all the open frame of the ship. We still got 2 bags to go, so we have some stuff to do on the upper section, clearly. Last two stickers. There's the stickers. And of course, the empty sticker sheet. We are done with stickers for tonight. Now let's keep building. Alright, let's get this panel on. And the bottom of the ship is now all closed up. We've still got several pieces left in this bag and 2 more bags. Looks like we're building the canopy assembly right now. feeling that's not supposed to be a spare part. Okay, so I did this section. Alright. Yeah, I see how it all goes. If I see a piece fall, even if it's a spare bit, I'm going to try and pick it up because I don't want to be stepping on them later. So we just built this big canopy section that's going to go over top of the ship. Let me just see how it all lines up here. So okay, so it snaps in there, but it's easily removable so that you can put people inside. Okay. So the canopy has been added to the Razor Crest. We have 2 bags left to go. From the looks of it, each bag is one of the engines. So let's go right into it. So the next 2 bags, we're going to be pretty much doing the same sequence, except in mirror. That's why it's not a 2X. So the body of the ship is done, except the engines. Here's where we are so far. Looking good, but it'll look even better once we have the engines added. Lots of big pieces in this bag of engine parts. Let's make sure I'm using the correct pieces. All right. Let's keep going. I thought I saw something go down, but I'm not sure. If I step on something or a piece doesn't turn up in the parts pile, then I'll take a better look at the floor. Well, I was almost off camera there. Sorry about that. Alright, let's keep going. Oh, let's not skip a step. These go on first. Alright, let's make all 8 of these sections and then I'll attach them. It'll be more efficient than attaching them after every one, I think. This is 6 of 8. Okay, now we can finally attach these. There's a big gear, but I think it's only a gear that's being used in order to do the shaping for the inside of the engine. I don't think it's a play feature. Because then these all fold up around the middle like this. That's a cool way to do engine shaping. And then this assembly will go into the main part of the engine assembly like this. And that's what it looks like so far. Now it looks like we're building the back end of the engine. Just slipped out of my fingers. That's okay, because we're almost done for the night. Sorry, I almost went off camera. Alright. And the first engine is ready to be attached. And it's the one that goes on this side. And the attachment points are right up there on top like that. And the first engine has been applied. Now we're going to do bag 8, in which we're going to do the other engine for the other side. We just passed the 3-hour mark of stream. By the time we finish building this engine, we will be at, if you count the break and the talk time, we'll be at about 3 hours of build time by the time we finish this last bag. And it should go a little bit quicker because we know what to expect in this bag. Alright, that bit is in. Excuse me. Since I know the sequence for the engine, it's going a little bit faster. We're still gonna have a big slowdown when we get to that 8x though. It's a good thing we're in the last bag too, because I'm starting to get thirsty. Sorry, I hesitated there. I'm sorry. Alright, so it's time for the 8X. This is the 5th one, so I need 3 more, and then we can keep going. Last one. All right, let's get these on. Now we're closing up the engine. And we're going to put it into the engine body. And now we're going to go do the other end of the engine. When it comes time to attach this engine, I'm going to turn off the instruction book from the screen. I'll still follow along on my other screen here, but we'll turn it off so you can get a full view of the table. You can actually watch the attachment of the second engine. It looks like these remaining tiles are just going to be the stud ammo, so I'm going to set these aside. The stud shooter is compatible with both tiles and studs. I prefer the studs because you can stack them. The tiles are a bit unwieldy to store, but it doesn't really matter because I don't load the shooters anyway for the displays. Oh. It looks like those engine... Well, on the box or in the instructions, it looks like these those little greeblings inside the engine are supposed to run up and down. But I put it in this first engine as left and right. And you know what? I think I prefer the way it looks left and right. I'm sure it's not that big a deal. Alright, so now we're attaching the engine, so let me turn the instructions off, and I can show you exactly how the engine attaches. Yeah, that was not supposed to happen. Alright, looks like I have a little bit of repair on the engine to do before we actually attach it. leave a piece on the floor. No, it was in my shadow. Okay. So if that one goes there. Then before I put that in, that means this one has to go into here. Sometimes I handle my Lego a little too roughly, and then boom, it explodes like that. But yeah, it looks like this engine is ready to be attached. So I just line it up and press the axles in, and boom, the Razor Crest is complete. And we'll do some close-ups here in a few moments. Let me just see. Yeah, this is showing how to load the stud shooters. We've done that many times before on this channel. So this ship, unlike others, because this is one of the ships that doesn't have moving parts, there really aren't as many play features as there are in some of the other ships. Not a big deal. It's still a really cool looking ship. And it looks even cooler with all the extra yellow than the version that was on in the TV show. The movie version, I mean. Because the TV show version was mostly gray with a few yellow markings. But then this is the movie version, and it took the yellow paint to a more extremist level. I do appreciate that. The ship looks even cooler with all that paint. I'm looking at the ad page, and it's showing some of the other sets from the movie. Oh, I definitely want to get that X-Wing now. You know what? As soon as stream ends, I'm putting that X-Wing into my purchase queue. Alright, let's get... So yeah, the play features are you can take off the canopy and put some people inside. It looks like there's enough seats for 2 characters or 1 character in Grogu. When you're done putting the people inside, you can pop that back on, and then you come down here and there's a loading ramp. And you can actually pull down both sides of the ship as well. One moment, because things are falling apart on me. But yeah, you can pull down both sides of the ship like that. And there's a full back compartment that you can load people into it, so you can use this as a transport. And you can open both sides like that. So, we're done building, so I'll set the brick separator aside. We'll do a close-up here. And the bottom of the ship is surprisingly clean. Designers don't always focus on the bottom of a ship. The top of the ship looks clean as well. And quick little 360. This is one of the more uniquely shaped ships in Star Wars. But still iconic. And swooshability. Definitely one-hand swooshable. Mando was a bounty hunter before he discovered Grogu, so He definitely was in a lot of gunfights in one of these things. Not this exact one, because this exact one is the movie one, which means, so it's the second Razor Crest, but still. Yeah, definitely very swooshable. And even more swooshable when you add the second hand and balances weight better. But yeah, pretty good balanced weight there. Let's see, let's put everybody standing on top of the ship. It'll be easier than putting them inside, because then you won't be able to see them anymore. So we'll have Zeb and Colonel Ward looking out together over the side of the ship. Mando is over here, approaching the canopy. Grogu is front and center doing Grogu things. And the stormtrooper off to the side getting ready to attack. Yeah, I think that's a good raid out scene right there. So everybody's working on top of the Razor Crest right now, getting ready to get in it because the stormtrooper is coming to attack. And let's see who we're going to raid. Oh, Brett's on tonight. He's my normal Saturday night raid, so let's do it. Let me type the raid here. Brett is a friend of the channel, and we're getting ready to go over there. I thought I was in the text box. Okay, the raid has been typed. This was the Lego Star Wars Razor Crest movie version. It was a pretty fun build. There were some cool techniques in there for a uniquely shaped Star Wars ship. This is a nice addition to my Star Wars fleet. It's got some colorful characters with it. You know what? I have another really iconic ship over there as well. We can probably do another stream. I'm out next weekend. I'm out for the next couple weekends, but I'll have some weekday time, possibly. We'll have to see how it goes. I might have time for one more stream before I leave next weekend. I kind of don't want to do Lego before I go away, though. Too much organizational stuff. Especially if there's a chance that I might be taking Hogwarts on tour as soon as I come back from being away. So I will have to... stream's probably going to be next to non-existent for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But I may try and pop in once or twice. We'll see if I can. This was the Lego Star Wars Razor Crest movie version. Zeb and Colonel Ward of the New Republic. The Mandalorian, Din Djarin, Grogu, and a stormtrooper. The raid has been typed. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Have a good night, and may the Force be with you. Have a good night, and may the Force be with you.
Hey, what happened? Somebody raided. Hey, Evie, what's up? How you doing? I'm destroying everything in the world.